If we could model every tiny detail of an object, all the way down to the structure of its molecules and simulate light interacting at that level, we wouldn't really need to do any shading at all. It's those microscopic and even submicroscopic details that control the apparent shininess of a surface, how transparent it is, or even whether it looks metallic or not. Obviously though, that's just not possible to model with polygons. So instead, just like with most things, we approximate. To try to achieve similar results, we use a shader, which is a set of instructions that tell light how to behave after it comes in contact with a surface. Rather than saying atoms here are some distance apart from each other, we just say let this amount of light pass through the surface. Instead of worrying about how molecules are very tightly packed and even on the surface, we can just say bounce light at a consistent angle rather than a random one. From the zoomed out view that's natural to us humans, it's incredibly hard to tell the difference, and it looks good enough. It's a clever trick that works extremely well, and it's also really easy for artists to use. In the following videos, we'll look at how to build shaders in Blender using what's called a BSDF, which stands for Bidirectional Scattering Distribution Function, and you definitely don't need to remember all the technical jargon. But do remember that a BSDF is just a set of instructions for telling the render engine what to do with the light when it hits a surface. There's a BSDF for every common surface effect, and we'll explore all of them plus some shaders for volumes. By combining several simple BSDFs together, using the flowchart-like interface we call the node editor, we can make some incredibly complex, layered, and interesting effects. The final result of our shaders and settings that determines how light interacts with the object is called the material. In the next video, before we dive into different BSDFs, we'll look at how we can add materials to our objects in Blender. Follow along in your own scene or download the source files right below this lesson, and let's get started.